And I'm a former IRS agent, teaching instructor with IRS. I have done this for 50 years. I worked at IRS a decade. I do these videos at home, so if you're expecting to see someone in a coat and tie, you're really here for my mind and my brain and not what I wear or where I do this at. If you want to see me and my whole team, I'd go to 777irs.com. I've been on many national broadcasts, ABC, Fox, Newsmax. I've been on almost all of them. You can go and look me in a coat and tie there. I just shoot these videos at home to give you information. A lot of the stuff that I give you is public information, so you at least know if you're going to hire someone, you'll know how to hire. You don't necessarily have to hire us. There's a lot of good people out there. Also, I try to educate you, and I try to give you insider secrets from the IRS. So most people don't know the IRS billing or collection cycle process, and I want to tell you what that is. As a revenue officer, I worked about 10,000 cases. I have my whole team of probably put over 250 years in at the IRS. We know the IRS. So today, I just want to educate you and tell you what happens when your tax return gets sent in and you owe money. What is the IRS process? So when you go ahead and send in your tax return, either by mail, don't do that. Make it by e-file. It's faster. It's more accurate. You can track it. When you do that, IRS then takes that tax return and processes into their system. It'll create a TC 150 date. Why is that important? It's the day IRS officially accepted your tax return. If you're hoping your statute of limitations, your statute of limitations blows. I got a little bit of the flu, but if you hope your statute of limitations blows, that TC 150 is real critical. So now that your return is actually in the IRS system, IRS is then going to send out a CP14. Just says, hey, you owe the money. They could send out a CP 2000, says, hey, you made a mistake, you owe this. But the CT 14 is the kickoff. Then it goes to CP 501, hey, you owe tax. CP 503, it's a little bit of stepped up language. CP 504, we're going to levy you, we're going to do wages, it's your final notice to pay. That is, at that time, you better have an exit strategy. What's an exit strategy? An exit strategy is, what are you going to do to resolve this debt? Because if you don't, and once they send out the 1058 form and you don't file a cap request or appeal, they are going to go ahead and levy your wages, and they are going to garnish your wages. So remember, you have the CP14, the CP 501, CP 503, CP 504, and then the last letter where you can go ahead and appeal the assessment. If you want to stop IRS at any point, what you simply go ahead and do is call the IRS. But you better have an exit strategy in mind. An exit strategy is how you're going to close the case. If you don't make an online payment agreement with IRS, and most people don't, IRS wants your current financial statement, and they're going to do one of two things. They're going to either put you in a currently non-collectible, it's a hardship, the case stays there a couple years, comes back out in the field, or they want a payment agreement. What's really important in all this is understanding the IRS financial statement. It is critical to working a collection case. So I have filled out, I don't know, thousands of these financial statements. Before you call IRS, you have to know the IRS has a national standard of expenses that they are going to allow. What does that mean? It means they're going to limit you to your food and clothing, housing and utilities, your car payments, and how much you spend on car expenses. There's a chart. If you want to know what those are, go to just Google IRS National Standards for food and clothing, housing and utilities, car payment, and car operation. They'll tell you what they're limiting on. So if you have an exit strategy, it's probably going to be when you call the service center, currently non-collectible or a payment agreement. Now, some of you could be eligible for an offer and compromise. Do not call any of these firms that you see on Facebook and Instagram. These are aggressive firms that will lie to you and tell you anything you need to know so you can cough over money. If you think you're eligible for an offer and compromise, you need to speak either. Listen to me. If not, you're going to get screwed. It's your fault. They're either going to, you need to speak to an enrolled agent, a CPA, or an attorney. Why? Those are the only ones that can represent you in front of the Internal Revenue Service. Lastly, if I was to do an offer and compromise on your case and you called me, I would want a financial statement. I would want to see the IRS financial statement that you're going to use for the offer and compromise. If you're going to hire someone else, make sure you send them the 433A or the 433A OIC. That's all I got for today. Please give me a subscription. It's right there. Let me tell you why subscriptions are big for me and other people. It lets YouTube know you like us. So even if you like the hat, give me a subscription. If you like the stone, give me a subscription. By the way, I try to answer all my questions by the end of the week. I thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful to you.